Hello, it's Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. Current blog post you want to share with you, of course, review the latest in social media and technology. Be sure to give us a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so we keep bringing you more of these great videos. We have all the major phone companies sending us phones, so you definitely want to keep up with all the latest and greatest that we'll be reviewing. Today, we're going to be reviewing the AT&T HTC One versus the AT&T Samsung Galaxy Note 2. They both are wonderful phones. Both I've really enjoyed using, and we're going to do some comparisons here. We're going to show you some of the differences between the two. We're going to show you some benchmarks, and we're going to show you some comparisons with the camera. So let's get into this. Now, the HTC One is a device that you're looking at. It's got 5.41 inches in height, 2.67 inches in width, and 0.37 inches in thickness. It's got a 5.04 ounce weight to it. Comparatively, on the Samsung Galaxy, you're looking at a body size of 5.95 in height, 3.17 in width, and 0.37 in inches. On the HTC One, we're looking at a display of Super LCD 3 capacitive touchscreen, 60 million colors. It is a 1080p, very beautiful screen, 4.7 inches with a 469 ppl pixel display, which is pretty freaking awesome. Now, the display on the Note 2 is a Super AMOLED capacitive touchscreen, 16 million colors. It's a 720p screen, so very different than 1080p on the One, and it's 5.5 inches with a 267 ppi pixel density. On the HTC One, what we're looking at with the memory is it has no expandable memory slot. It has no micro SD card you can put into it. It does have 32 and 64 gigabyte models, and it has 2 gigabytes of RAM internally. Conversely, on the Note 2, you can expand to the micro SD card up to 64 gigabytes, and it comes in versions 16, 32, 64 gigabyte storage. You can also get it with 2 gigabytes of RAM. On the HTC One, the camera is an interesting camera on how they've set this up. It's a 4 megapixel camera, but it has what are called ultra pixels, which are supposed to be technically, I guess, bigger pixels to make the image look better. That's up to anyone's argument at this point, and we'll show you some of the differences between the two cameras. The video out the back is 1080p 30 frames per second, as is the front 1080p 30 frames per second, and the front-facing camera is a 2.1 megapixel camera. On the Note 2, you're looking at a 8 megapixel camera out the back. There's no ultra pixel or anything like that. It is a 1080p 30 frames per second out the back of the camera. And we don't have the data on what comes out the front. It could be 720p. I believe it is 720p. And then the front-facing camera is 1.9 megapixels. Now, with the HTC One, you're looking at Android OS 4.1.2. It's upgradable to the new ones that come out. It's got a quad-core 1.7 gigahertz crowd. It's a very fast quad-core that's in this little puppy. In the the Samsung Galaxy Note 2, you're looking at an OS of 4.1.1. I believe we've upgraded to 4.1.2 in this. It's got a quad-core 1.6 gigahertz Cortex A9. So both are very fast. On the battery for the HTC One, it's got a 2300 milliamp hour battery, comparatively to a 3100 milliamp hour battery. Now, I've been in love with the Galaxy Note 2 for quite some time. I love its speed. I love its giant screen size, its phablet, if you will. And I really like the UI on the Samsung product. I am now in love, and I've actually started using the HTC One, to be quite honest with you. I love the 1080p screen. It's very beautiful. It's much faster than the Samsung Galaxy Note 2, but I still love my Note 2. It's hard to find anything wrong with it other than the HTC One is faster, I do like the on the HTC One, the 1080p screen, the better recording out the front, of course, also camera. I'm not in love with the HTC UI as much as I am in love with the Samsung Galaxy. Samsung Galaxy seems to have a lot of customization available and a really nice UI for what you want to take and do. In the notifications menu, they have a really smart way of easily making adjustments to different things. Multi-window, of course, is a really cool feature. Bluetooth, being able to turn stuff on, driving mode, which you don't find on the HTC One. Their UI is very featureless comparatively to the Samsung. But it does have a 1080p screen. It's very fast. We'll show you the speed test that it blows through on Geekbench too. One other really cool thing that I enjoy about the HTC One is the front-facing stereo speakers. One thing that's really great about these speakers is when you're gaming or playing games and you put these front-facing speakers on, it's really cool. The sound is blasting out you. Conversely, one of the issues you have with most phones is the speaker is on the back, therefore it's usually muffled when it's sitting down on something, and fairly disappointing from that angle there. Now, other than that, you can get great sound on both these devices if you use Bluetooth speakers where you have external speakers that do your stuff for you. But, it just depends on what you want to do. The build on the HTC One is very, very beautiful. It's got a beautiful aluminum build to it. You can see here the front. We've got the speakers, the front-facing camera. It has this great hard body experience. Let's take a look and walk around both these as we go. Now, there seems to be this camp that's coming out against the Samsung Galaxy products where they feel they're plasticky. And yes, there is some plastic parts to them on the rounding out of the bodies and the backs. Comparatively, the HTC One has got this beautiful aluminum finish that's really, really nice, very beautifully well done. So it seems like the two camps that are lining up is people that are going, this is a much better build and a higher quality phone than the Samsung Galaxy product because it's very plasticky, is their argument. It's really up to you what you decide is best for you. I've never had a problem with the plasticky nature of the Galaxy. It's the internal guts that really kick butt that I'm impressed with, and the Samsung UI. You can see here we've got the front-facing microphone hole, and we've got the lamp flash area, the camera eye, and of course this comes with Beats audio, which HTC owns interest in, and it gives an enhancement of sound, and it does blast out very well at the front speakers. On the Samsung Galaxy Note 2, we have the camera eye, we have the flash lamp, and we have your speaker back here. Now there's no removable back on the HTC One. It's all locked into a unibody, if you will. On the Galaxy Note 2, it has a removable back area. Now you can see how big the speaker is here, and it has a micro SD card area that you can take and upgrade the stuff. It also has a removable battery, which the HTC One does not, and for some people that's important. The one thing about the HTC One you will note is that it does have a lot of battery burn. It has a 1080p screen, a very fast processor, and it can burn up the battery very fast. In fact, I think I would say 25% faster than most phones. So one thing about it is you got to keep it charged up. The other thing the Galaxy Note 2 has is the stylus. So you can take the stylus, you can write on the screen and do all sorts of fun stuff with that. I actually almost never use my stylus. I forget it's there. But for some people, that's important. Let's move these aside for a second, and let's take a look at the body design. Now, the HTC One's got a really beautifully cut body that's very reminiscent of the iPhone 5 in the way they cut and bevel the edges. It's very beautifully done on the outside and the build itself. It feels like a very solid phone. You can see the aluminum volume rocker that they took and did here. Very beautifully well done phone. With the Samsung Galaxy Note, not to say anything bad about them, but they do kind of just have a plasticky outer area. There's nothing wrong with it. It's very solid and it can do the job. It actually helps keep the device very light, which is important to some people. Across the top here you can see we've got the power button and the earphone jack on the HTC One. On the Note 2 we have the earphone jack and the microphone. Along the bottom of each of the devices, looks like we've got that case sticking out just a little bit. Pop that into place. We've got the sync charge and a microphone hole on the HTC One, and on the Galaxy Note 2 we have your sync charge hole, a microphone hole, and we also have your stylus area. Down the left hand side of both devices, you can see they're fairly similar in size. We have a really nice button for the volume rocker button, and we have the power button for the Samsung Galaxy Note 2. And then on the HTC One, on the left-hand side, we have the SIM card tray and a hole to punch out the SIM card, and we have their volume rocker for the Galaxy Note 2. Now, it just really depends on which one works the best for you in your experience. Naturally, there's the 1080p screen on the HTC One, but you also have a much giant, beautiful phablet-style screen, as we call it, on the Note 2. It makes for very nice gaming, very nice video playing and watching on the Note 2. Having the big screen is really nice for gaming and watching videos, movie, TV, etc. On the other hand, the HTC One is very nice for watching and playing games because it is a 1080p screen, so you're getting a much more beautiful experience. It's really up to you at that point which one might work best for you. Alright, so here you can see the Geekbench 2 scores for both these, which I feel is really the definitive benchmarking app for Android devices. You can see here that the HTC One scored 2621, the Note 2 scored 2021. Now I have seen the variance on the HTC One going all the way up to 2700s, and we've seen variance on the Samsung Galaxy Note 2 up in the 2200s. So there seems to be an up and down. I've seen this as low as 19. I've seen this as low as in the 25s. But you can definitely see that the HTC One, with a little bit faster processor, of course, is considerably faster in its speed and operation. You can see here some of the integer scores, floating point scores, memory scores, and the stream score. So we'll page down through these. You can pause them at any time. One of the great things about these apps is you can download them and follow along. The real key core here is you're dealing with on the HTC One, it's a 1.73 gigahertz processor, and on the Note 2, you're dealing with 1.60. It's obviously going to go faster, and there's probably some work that goes into this when it comes to memory. You can see memory versions there. So we're going to page down through this, and you can pause this at any time if you so choose, and you just want to get a look at how these are panning out in their speeds, memory breakdowns, the stream. I really don't find the information too detailed, but some people are really into that sort of thing. So you can see those, but definitely the HTC One is considerably faster. Okay, so let's take a look at how both these devices came out with photo and video testing. We pretty much have the brightness turned up on both devices, so we should be able to, see what we're going to see here. As you can see, the HTC One in this case, it was a little bit of a low light picture, not much, but slightly, where there's an overhang of the cabinet. It looks like the HTC One took a much better picture in this case. Now I think I could see more detail though on the 8 megapixel camera with the Samsung. Let's go ahead and blow that up, and yeah, you can definitely tell I can see more divots, more holes, and more detail where this is blown out over here. There's much more detail on each of these. So even though they're megapixels as they take and build them, you're definitely losing pixel count when it really comes down to it. But the picture does look pretty good over here on this side. I think you'd agree with me there. Let's take a look. This is a colorized box that you can see here. The colors are much richer on the Samsung Galaxy Note 2, but a little bit more clear and edgy. It's not as blown out with the colors on the One. So it's up to you as to what you think might be the best thing here. Here's a picture that we took where we're taking some picture of fabric. Once again, you can see here it's in low light. It comes out much better on the HTC One in light, but you can see much more detail on the Galaxy Note 2. Let's take a look at what video looks like with the color on here. And we could take and see both have really good video. The color seems to be a little more vivid in the Note 2. I like the preciseness, though, of the HTC One. Really is up for grabs there. Here's a picture of my dog. that you can take and see. You can see that the light here is much better on the HTC One, but on the Note, let's go ahead and blow it up so we can get a good look at it. On the Note, yeah, there's pretty good detail on both these photos. Let's see if we take a look. I actually do like the picture on the Note and the colorization of it. Trying to see if there's more detail. Let's see how close we can come in to really get this. It's kind of a for grabs here. I would say the One might be actually better in this case. I can see a little bit more. Boy, it's really, really close, I got to tell you, in the quality here. Wow, it's very interesting. And I like the colors that are coming in. You're seeing a lot of blue on the Samsung screen. So, very interesting that way. Let's go into, this is a closet shot where it's in complete darkness. We had a lot of trouble getting the shot done in the HTC One thing. We just had a lot of trouble getting it to focus and get a decent shot. I definitely think the Samsung One here was much easier. It took us about 4 or 5 shots with the One to get the thing done. I think this is pretty indicative of what we've seen with the other tests with the One. The flash isn't quite as bright as some other phones like the iPhone 5, etc. You can see here the flash does really well on the Samsung Galaxy Note 2. I think it wins this battle as most phones have usually won so far. Let's take a look at in the complete darkness with the lamp flash. You can see here, normally the One does fairly well. It did very well against the iPhone 5, but you can see here the lamp is much better on the Samsung, and so is the focus in dark setting situations. So very interesting. We know that the One operates in very low light and actually comes out with really good pictures. Sometimes you're losing pixels, of course, but sometimes the pictures come out looking really well. What can you say? So there's our test of the camera. I'll let you guys decide which one you think is best for you. Okay, so all in all, I love both phones. I've really enjoyed them. I fell in love with the Note 2 and used it for a long time. I've loved the the HTC One. The camera is an issue for me. The HTC One Sense, the UI, the Sense 5.0 from HTC, not really excited about it. It's pretty featureless. There's some crapware apps that they have on it that I'm not really excited about. The calendar. One thing you don't have with the HTC One is you don't have the S voice, where you can easily double click and go into an S voice and you can command opening of apps and everything else. You do, if you double click this home button, you do have where you can get into Google Now, where Google Now can do some of that for you, but you lose a lot of features that you can get with the Samsung One voice, and I really like the One voice. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. And I've tried dealing now with the Google Now experience and setting appointments and alarms and everything else through there. Both are wonderful phones. I really, really love both of them. And for me, they're both two of the top in the marketplace right now. And we're about 2 weeks before the issuance of the Samsung S4. So we'll be interesting to see how those two compare. And be sure to tune in at that time so we can show you what's going on to see that also. You're seeing the Facebook there's a Facebook programming thing that works with Twitter and I believe LinkedIn that you can add to the HTC, which is kind of an interesting facial thing. And of course, both devices will work with the new Facebook Home, which looks good on both devices. Anyway, be sure to tune in and like us on YouTube and follow us and subscribe so we can keep bringing you all these great videos. Thanks to AT&T.com for providing the phones for us. You can go to AT&T.com and see all the wonderful phones they have there. And be sure to tell them Chris Voss sent you. Chris Voss tested, Chris Voss approved. I'll leave it up to you to decide which one might work best for you. Please tune in as often as possible as we keep updating great videos.